real-life cinema, and that's something I feel quite related to right now because I'm standing here without almost no audience. And inspiration for this question, the question, when's my body public, came forth out of the way in which our bodies actually were moved by the COVID measurements. So when you enter museums, you have all these arrows, or actually supermarkets and anything, you have all these arrows, signs and barriers that are designed to sort of streamline our movements. And actually, yeah, due to the current lockdown, and thanks to Jose and Nina for their technical know-how, we are very excited to host these viewing sessions now online with LIMA for free. There's also an option to donate something, so please, that's in the subscription below. And for now, I would like to give the word to Sanneke Huisman. She's the co-curator and programmer of LIMA, moderator of tonight.
Already this feels as a choreography. And we're going to see many of them tonight. Works that are meant as a choreography or not, that's often going to be the question. And when are you performing and when are you not? That's things that the works that we're going to screen are going to be addressed. And as you can probably already see, I'm not going to do this alone, but I have a wonderful guest here with me. Sander Breuren, welcome, and thanks for joining. And welcome back. I suppose we're back. I have no idea where you lost me or where I lost you, but we're just going to try again by introducing the works. So as I mentioned, we're going to see works by Julika Rudelius, Sander Breuren-Witte van Hulsen, Alicia Framis, and Jeroen Offerman. We're going to discuss them mostly with Sander Breuren with me here in the room, and with Jeroen Offerman later via Zoom and streamed on your YouTube channel. So many things going on. So I think for now, we're going to just start watching collectively the first work that is also about collectivity, or is it not? We're going to see, and I'm going to wish you a wonderful screening. The work is Adrift by Julika Rudelius. It is from 2007 and lasts around 5 minutes, and we will be back afterwards. Thank you so much. Enjoy. And welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I wonder how you all experienced it. And as you know, the chat is available for comments. So if you have any comment to make on how this experience was for you, please share it with me and Sander. We will be here. We will be reading your comments and maybe even respond to them. Yeah, we saw a group of people, but we saw that they were not connected to each other. But I also myself felt extremely disconnected from what was happening there. I think because they seemed to follow some rules or follow a certain mindset or choreography that we didn't understand. So there's also it plays with inclusion and exclusion, but also with the fact that once you repeat something, it automatically becomes a performance, or there happens to be a sort of performativity in it. Yeah, Sander, how did you experience this work?
Yeah, I only saw the preview on the LIMA website before I came here, so I don't know, but it was a group of people that are transported somewhere, if I recall.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that you can actually also watch while everyone at home is watching. But yeah, it does have a lot to do with transport, since they're sort of rocking movement. There's a collective humming for the entirety of the work. People have their eyes closed. I think only some of them watch, and also they directly break a bit the this inwarded atmosphere, and even maybe they break a bit the fourth wall. But yeah, you directly think they are in a bus or something, because of their movement. But you also see that their environment looks more like a waiting room for a doctor or so. So there's also this out of place setting, so to say. But what made me think of in regard to your work is hey, there's our mystery guest, Jeroen. What maybe is that like a simple gesture can become a performance, so to say, if you repeat it. And I think that if we can already, like, your work will be next, so maybe we can already like make the bridge a little bit. That is something that you have been researching and playing with for quite a while for the work that we're gonna show. So maybe.
Yep.
You probably also see that we're constantly switching positions, because I want to look at the audience, but I also want to look at you, Sander. So there's this weird choreography going on here. But yeah. Just shoot. I won't interrupt.
No, I mean, I need to go back to briefly just to the work of Julia. What I really like about it myself is that you see these people in this space, and I mean, in my mind, they are transported somewhere just the same way that as a viewer, when you are all together in a cinema also or something like this, that you are in this kind of, that you can have this imagination that you're all flying somewhere, that you're all going somewhere. And I mean, I don't know how she came about this, if it was this metaphor or if it was something more formal, like you're saying, like this idea of this repetition. I mean, was for us, this idea of this repetition came really when we were doing this performance in the so the next work that we'll see is a performance that we did in a train station. And in the train station you have a lot of people, so we were thinking about how to give a kind of visibility to this performance. One of the very first ideas for this performance that we had was that it would be kind of like a narrative experience that would then repeat every day. That two people would have this kind of storyline through this station that would be really hidden and just every day happening. But then we thought we make it more condensed and even more abstract, or even more just these yeah, this kind of everyday movement of going to the train, drinking a cup of coffee, it's all based on observations that we did, and this is done in synchrony, and this mirroring, this repetition makes it visible in this crowd of people on the train station.
Yeah, I want to go back now on a thing you said about like Julika's work, also about this experience of a cinema room, and I think that's also what I hinted on with this being there as an individual and being there collectively, and I think that's also what's happened in a cinema space. You're all there, and you're really, if you would watch it, like if I would watch it now, a cinema full of people, it would be a collective to me. They would do a collective act, so to say. But it's also a hyper individual experience, like being seated in the dark in a cinema room. So this friction there, I think, is very interesting. How she managed to represent that in her work. So it's not only on the formal level that I wanted to address that, but also indeed. So yeah, it's good that you mention it. In the meantime, I'm intrigued by the image of sort of pre-cinematic version of Jeroen Offerman being also here present. But then to your work, which is also from the transportation mode of Julika's work to the station of Utrecht. So there's more links. And what do you think? Is it best that we first just watch it before we? I think everything we're going to say right now is maybe going to not spoil, but already like put people in a certain direction. Maybe we just like give it a go and let everyone watch it. Oh, I also see that there's a reaction on the chat by Ivar, who was with me in the stream and was with us in the cinema room last week on Julika's film. I'm really going like everywhere, but I just want to also share with you Sander. He says, beautiful film with this strange mix between a yoga seance, a religious gathering, and the boat waiting in some kind of transport, like a ferry boat. So I think actually Ivar summarizes it very well. Thanks for the comment. If there's more comments, you can also still leave your comments while the other work is playing, or comment on the work. It's all allowed in this weird, funny night. Yeah, I think I'm for now going to leave it at that, and we're going to ask José to bring us to the next screening. How Can We Know the Dancer from the Dance by Sander Brugge and Witte van Hulse, and it lasts for 22 minutes. So enjoy.
Hey, en waar is jouw pizza dan? Waarom vind je dat raar? Waarom vind je dat raar? Omdat niemand oplet. Ja, maar ze lachen nu ook. Ze zijn erachter dat de mensen filmen.
Dames en heren, de Intercity naar Gouda, Rotterdam-Alexander en Rotterdam. Dames en heren, de Intercity naar Gouda, Rotterdam-Alexander en Rotterdam Centraal van 9:02 vertrekt ons 8:02.
Maar niet iedereen door. Dat is zo grappig. Leuk hè? Ja. Heel veel mensen lopen gewoon door. Ik vraag me dan ook af wat ze het doen om te kijken of mensen dat doorhebben. Oh, ze lopen nu uit elkaar. Wie was dat? Ja. Om 6 uur opstaan. Ik ben nog wakker. Elke dag. Ja, ik deed er om 6:15 ook kan zijn. Dan moet ik ook de OK hebben. De OK voorbereiden, klaarzetten. Gezond worden.
Maar dat komt zo wel. Ja, jawel. Ze doen precies hetzelfde. Moet je maar goed kijken wat ze doen.
Dan gaan we nu bouwen.
Zie je? Die,
Dames en heren, dit is een bericht voor reizigers tussen Breukelen, Utrecht Centraal en Veenendaal Centrum. Door beperkingen binnen het regeerinzicht rijden er minder sprinters tussen Breukelen en Veenendaal Centrum. De extra reistijd kan oplopen tot 15 minuten. Dit duurt.
Dan gaan mensen ook sneller kijken.
Dames en heren, dit is een bericht voor reizigers tussen Rotterdam Centraal en Roosendaal. Door het rechtspoor rijden er minder treinen tussen.
Sprinter naar Woerden van 16:50 niet rijden.
Dames en heren, dit is een bericht voor reizigers naar Balen. Door het seinspoor rijden er minder sprinters tussen Utrecht Centraal en Den Dolder. Dit duurt de rest van de dag. Dames en heren, tot en met 17 augustus is het voor werkzaamheden niet mogelijk om met de trein naar het station Utrecht-Zuiden te reizen. Vanaf het Jacobsplein vertrekt er een bus van UOV, lijn 3 naar Utrecht-Zuiden. Tot en met 17 augustus.
Zal ik even meegaan?
Niet mogelijk om met de trein naar het station Utrecht-Zuiden te reizen. Vanaf het Jacobsplein vertrekt er een bus van UOV, lijn 3 naar Utrecht-Zuiden. Dames en heren, de Dames en heren, dit is een bericht voor reizigers naar Leiden Centraal. Door het zijn- en overwegstoring rijden er geen treinen.
U bent hier een kwartier tot een half uur langer onderweg.
Dames en heren, de Intercity naar Amersfoort, Apeldoorn, Deventer, Almelo en Enschede van 16:36 vertrekt van spoor 4. Herhaling, de Intercity naar Amersfoort, Apeldoorn, Deventer. Transport 1. Dames en heren, de Intercity naar Amsterdam-Amstel, Amsterdam Centraal.
Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, Sander, there's already some interesting analysis going on in the chat. I don't know if you see it, but I can read it to you in a second. But first, yeah, what did we see? What is so interesting, I think, that, and everyone must have seen it by now, but we didn't say it at forehand, that you didn't record anything of this performance, but it was all documented material that you found online. So people not only recorded it, but they also had the urge or need to to share it on social media platforms and so on. Yeah, maybe you can tell a bit about it, because I think when you must have expected it, that this was going to happen because it's part of the artistic process. But I'm extremely surprised that there's so much material on the thing that happened.
Yeah. I mean, of course of course we expected to some degree, you know, that you could maybe find something back online afterwards, but I mean, the performance lasted half a year, you know, so it's every day for 6 hours, so it's also a significant amount of time, and it was really a lot of work actually to find all these videos, and I just Googled Utrecht Centraal, like the broadest. Try to search as broad as possible, and then just spend days going through the results, you know. So it's yeah, and also on Instagram and these kind of course. And yeah, I mean, for us it was a surprise, and then when I realized, like, wow, okay, there is so many videos, then of course, I thought you can. It is beautiful if you can piece it together until it becomes a piece again, you know, to kind of reconstruct your own choreography
but you didn't expect at first that there was gonna be a video documentation or a video work of this.
No, I mean, we had our own video documentation planned already, and but that then we made another film with this money. So
that's nice. But I also think it makes it so extremely interesting, and also these little moments that we hear people talk. Like I think at one moment it's like, I think they don't know. I think no one is really watching or so. So there's also this analysis going on that people feel that they are seeing something that others aren't, and are discussing it. Like, are they doing it so that they want us to see it? And then, oh, now that we notice, they stop. And so there's, and this is what the same kind of feeling I had in Julika's work, but more staged, that you feel indeed there's something going on that you can see and that you can, in a way, you can read, because it's all gestures that we are aware of. That's in this regard, especially where it's based on. But there's also this alienation. So yeah, once you see a couple of people doing it, you're like, is it a coincidence? Am I seeing something that no one is seeing? And yeah, and
yeah, no, I also like this moment when this girl starts to kind of imitate them, or and that she's really nervous, as if she's going on the stage, you know, and this is, I find beautiful. And of course, it's also funny to think that so many people have seen this film now. If she would have known that, she would have been probably much more nervous. But yeah, and I liked it also that you then really see that this stage is kind of created, and that was of course part of the idea, that this performance creates its own stage in a way, or its own theater.
Yeah, and so how was the process running up to this 6 months? Because it's finding this choreography in which you play with this tension field, but also maybe in the amount of performers that you like. Did you play with that along this 6 months, or did you already have everything settled out? Like, if this choreography, we have this amount of people, or was that also a trial and error? Like, where's the line that it's?
No. I mean, we did trial and error, but beforehand.
Okay.
Like, we did tests during the rehearsals. We did tests of like. You know, when is it visible? When is it not visible? How like this kind of things, like how it would react in the spot itself, and how people react to it, and if they start to copy it or not, and like this. And no, but beforehand, I mean, the whole choreography. It's also kind of funny that we thought of it really as a video piece in a way, because the whole choreography is based on videos that we made beforehand. So this kind of observations it is in a way a documentary, like it's a kind of, you know, like a true story. Like all the events that, all the movements in the choreography have actually happened there already before. And so before we did the whole rehearsals, we went there very often with a camera, and then translated these videos into the choreography. And the choreography is very precise, so it was also really impossible to change it actually once we had made it. Yeah, because there were, I don't remember, I think there were 18 performers that were working in shifts.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you have to change it, then you have to. Yeah, it was not
It's
possible.
strict
Once
80
they knew
people.
it and it started, then that was it. And then it was more about, I mean, this process of this 6 months was more about kind of maintaining it and, yeah, kind of care for the performers and motivate them and like this.
Yeah, because that's something you can only imagine when you watch it and not really experience what a hell of a job it must have been for these performers. That like, even if you don't have to do it constantly, but that for 6 months you're involved in this project, that you just have to mimic drinking a cup of coffee on the central station. But even this, the subtlety of the performer of the choreography must have been the complicated part for the performers. That it's so precise because it is so futile, so to say. So it's so like non-dramatic that it must be hard to remember or to.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is also this gaze of this camera in a way, because we it is a kind of inhuman gaze, because we could have also gone with a just a notebook and do let's say our observations there.
Yeah.
But then of course the choreography can never be as I mean, I assume you could do it, but then you just notate like, okay, it's a woman, she is looking on her phone and she walks away again. But then but with the video, you really see how her feet are standing, how her hand is in her pocket or not, or how long everything is. And yeah, this performance were really, it's in that sense also almost like a kind of a music piece or something like that. That all these time intervals of how long things are very precise, and they're counting kind of most of the time.
No.
Yeah.
And if we see it in the like a larger scheme of your body of work, and I say you, but of course all the time I say you, I mean Witte and you, like Witte who can't be here tonight. There's this interest in the mediocre, or finding the specialty in the mediocre, or maybe not even the special element, but I think in many of your works you're looking for archetypes, and maybe over the course of the years has that become more theatrical. I know one of your works is finding the average Dutch family and then performing it. Don't know if there's a question already here, but it's just maybe a short analysis. But over the years, that became maybe more outspoken and theatrical. How do you?
Yeah, I mean, when we were working on this, I mean, I think it's clear that for us, this idea of daily life is important, and also, I mean, when we were doing this performance, for example, we were also talking sometimes about this essay of David Foster Wallace of "This Is Water," and it starts with this kind of metaphor of two fish. Two young fish that are swimming around, and then they meet this older fish, and the older fish is like, "Hi guys, how's the water?" And then they swim along, and then the two fish are to each other like, "What is water?" And it's a bit this idea that you are, and then he elaborates on it on in this essay, David Foster Wallace, on how a lot of things that are actually very important for who you are and what you're doing with your time and with your life, in a way like that is something that you actually don't think a lot about because you are in it all the time. And this is for us where this idea of this, or where this interest in this every day comes from.
Yeah, and in this regard, you like almost literally give it a stage, so to say.
Yeah.
But then directly, there's also this alienation. So that's also because it does what everyone does. So you can recognize what's happening, but you also feel alienated from it because it is given a stage or so. So there's also this tension.
Yeah, I mean, this theatricality for me is just it's like a method. Like it's like you take the every day and then you put it in the theater to operate on it, so to say. You know, to observe it and to analyze it and to as a kind of and then I think everything that you observe and start to think about becomes automatically very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, but normally in a theatrical setting, it's you know what you're going to be confronted with, and now it becomes like it's in its natural habitat that you take something out, but also you keep it inside. So that's the interesting tension.
Yeah, and then you get this kind of strange feedback loop that also kind of people that are not that's also sometimes unclear who is performing, or that these kind of people that are not aware of the performance in the train station are passing through it. And because that was something that happened to us, because we went there at least every week and sometimes more often. And then you observe it for so long, then you start to divert your attention also away from the performance. But I also heard this from other people, that actually the performance also really serves as a way of activating the space around it and kind of creates all these performers out of these people that are just passing by.
It's funny that you meant the feedback, because that's also being discussed a bit in the chat, but maybe I read it to you that you see how people analyzed it. It says, what I love about this performance is that the everyday life movements are immediately repeated in the same context as where they were found. The observation, the recognition of the observation, and the returning to this observation happens all within the same time frame. And then there was the question, is it a form of body feedback loop? And then there was the answer, also an immediate loop of the creative process. You observe, render, relate, transform, and cast it back into the world. So I think it's a nice analysis, isn't it? Then there was the question, were the movements of the performers indeed inspired on the movements of the travelers seen at the station? But this we talked of. And then Luna asks, was there actually permission needed to let the performance happen on the station?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was I mean, we were invited by the municipality actually, and beforehand there was also, and we chose the spot, and then the municipality had to negotiate with the owner of the train station, the NS, and the Dutch Railways. And then there was this whole kind of thing that normally they would rent it out sometimes to companies to do sponsoring. So there was this kind of, it was also interesting that, I mean, that you then also touch on this idea, because the train station feels so public somehow, you know, like it feels like, and then you realize it's actually not.
Just a commercial space.
It's also monetized and rented out really, and I think it's like 10,000 euros per day or something. Like
I was about to say, you didn't pay the commercial fee in the end, I hope.
But luckily we didn't do this negotiations ourselves also.
Yeah, I think you don't want to deal directly with NS.
No, I don't have so
much
leverage.
NS, but just don't. I'm gonna have a look at the chat. More questions, more comments. Don't think so. Then I want to go to the next work. Did you know it already, Sander? Alicia Frami's work.
I mean, I know her as an artist, but this particular work I don't know.
You don't? Yeah, it's an oldie. It's 2009, and it's a recording of a performance she did. I think also over the course of she did it over the course of a week or so. But it's also really an endurance performance that she did for Performer 9 in. And she founded a temporary society in which she, for the entire week, is dressed in a astronaut outfit. How do you call that? Like, I don't even know it in Dutch, but yeah, you know what I mean. the thing that you wear when you travel to the moon. And then she asked like fellow artists and writers to give her instructions what to do in the moon suit. Is it a moon suit? It's a moon suit. And yeah, I think we're gonna watch it first, but it's very humorous at first, but it also, of course, starts to question and reflect on your behavior in public space and what is allowed and what is not, and which hidden structures are there or unscribed rules, so to say. And yeah, next to that, it was also a critique on the amount of women, or I think the absence of women on the moon, but that is more like on the surface. But yeah, just her choreography, her performance in public space is alienating just because of this one simple piece of clothes that she's wearing, and even like that people see her as a threat at times, it looks. But I'm not gonna spoil anymore. It's a 30-minute film in which you see several days and several instructions in the life of the Moon Society performers. So just say if you're ready, we are. If you're at home ready, enjoy the work.
Babylon, stopping at Woodside, Jamaica, St. Albans, Rockville Center, Boulder, Freeport, Maribel, Wancho, Seaford, Massapequa, Massapequa, Park, Underdome, Colby, Lincoln, and Babylon.
This station is Woodside. This is the train, Babylon.
Approaching train station, the final stop. Please begin your tray presenting trash in the containers on the station platform.
Brakes back. Watch out there, sir.
Are you ready? I didn't know if it was in the wall. Shouldn't you be worried? Yeah, like, yeah, that's true.
You know, it's funny. I was in the mall and there's two girls.
Sorry, we take all the cash.
That's fine.
I am like nothing today.
They're in my pocket, and every time bridge work comes up, and I'm like, "Mark, did you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem."
I'd rather give you money.
Was she a journalist?
Yeah.
Do you know where she was from?
No, somewhere, something from a radio.
Thank you. Here you go. Space person. Back there. Thank you very much. On the end. Bye-bye. It's her show. Here we go. Bye-bye.
A garden should be an earthly paradise, an Eden, a representation of nature in well-balanced perfection.
Not so much perfection anymore.
Okay, I gotta get out of here.
What is this for? What is this for?
White American is a dead American.
나도 모르는 소리가 너무 첫 곡으로 와갔대.
I'm sorry because it's black and gray, but it's plain black.
你一路直行得㗎啦。
OK。
啊。
Yeah。 And then I'm like, I'll take the screw out of your hand. Put the thing down.
I am particularly delighted to be here on this occasion
My purpose is to defend existentialism against some charges that have been brought against it. Manpower is doubling every 12 years in a rate of growth more than 3 times that of our population as a whole. Whatever man may appear to be, there is a future waiting to be created. In a virgin future, then the saying is true, but for now we are abandoning it. In an excellent article, Francis Ponge once wrote, "Man is the future of man."
And welcome back, everyone. We went on quite a travel into familiar but yet so unfamiliar environment when it's seen through through the eyes of a lost astronaut. So yeah, it's funny. I was thinking, like in the case of the work of Sandra and Witte, there was a couple of people needed to make it a performance or a choreography. But here, when you dress up so outspokenly, then everything you do starts to have a performative quality. Because I even think when you think of the instructions, then the instructions that were the most subtle, they maybe worked the best. I think some of them started to put emphasis on the fact that she was an astronaut in an alien environment, but I didn't think that they were the ones that brought the concept strongest to the fore, so to say. I think it's when it's in the subtlety of everyday life that you start to see this estranging relationship that she has with her environment. Yeah. Also, like in the case of your work, Sander, you're sort of dependent on the documentation material, on the quality of it, if you can work with it. And here she was a sort of dependent on the quality of the instructions. So there's also something that you give out of hand and then implement in your work. And of course, she was still free to choose how to work with these instructions, and you were free how to deal with the documentation material. But I think that maybe I'm also drawing parallels that aren't like making sense. Any comments?
From me, you mean?
Yeah.
Or yeah. No, I thought it was quite funny that her helmet was all the time open, because it's like the how you say, it's the opposite of what the suit is supposed to be doing, of course, in a way. But
yeah, but the funny thing then, if she would have left it closed, she probably would have died after. So in a way, like having it opened did exactly what it needed to do in a changing environment. So there's this inversion going on various levels. I'm also going to keep an eye on the chat. If there's comments on this work, please share them with me. And I think I already want to make a little bridge to the next work, because what this work connects to the second one from my point of view is this isolation within a public context, so to say. So Alicia is constantly surrounded by people, but she's already the title, she's a lost astronaut, but she's alone, so to say. She's strange, she is isolated from, and not only by her suit, because she's not entirely, because it's open all the time, but also because of her appearance. And in the next work by our still mystery guest, Jeroen Offerman, you will also see he's appearing. His shadow is there. He is present in public space, but because of what he does, he is also estranged from it. And he's now making a beautiful hint to the start of the movie that we're going to watch. Is it the start of the end? That's actually, it's funny that I'm confused, because it plays with what is start and what is end, and what is time, what is linear time, what is video, what is documentation. I think enough questions, enough smoke and mirrors to start the next film, and afterwards you're going to finally see Jeroen in sort of real life. But for now, she'll say, I think it's ready. We're ready for the last work of the night. Enjoy.
Stars the ussur, hold that stars is falls, and she's flying a stairways to heaven. When she casts there she knows, if the star goes, with her heart she can cast what she came for. And she's flying a stairway to heaven. There's a sign on the wall, but she has to be sure, 'cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. And that day by the road, there's a song for two things. Sometimes all of our thoughts home is heaven. makes me wonder. There's a feeling I get when I look the west, and my spirit is kind for living. In my thoughts I have seen rings of smoke through the trees, and the voices of those who stand looking. Which makes me wonder. Which makes me wonder. It's whispers that soon, if we all call the tune, stand by the railways, the snow reason. And the hoops yield on for the shoes and song, and the forest will echo with laughter. If there's a bustle in your radio, don't be alarmed, no. It's just a strangling for the between. Yes, there are loopholes you can go by, but it's longer. There's still time to change the road you're on. This makes me wonder. Your relatives are building their stone bow, in case you don't know. Stop by first following you to join them. Can you hear the wind blow? And did you know your stereo license of this spring? and she's sighing, stay away to heaven.
Welcome back. I think Jeroen doesn't smoke anymore. So what he did, don't try that at home. Yeah, we saw Jeroen in 2002 with a mesmerizing work. I've seen it many times, but it still keeps on, I don't know, surprising me, or it's still like it's fascinating to watch. Yeah, Jeroen, how do you look like in 2021? Can you just like show yourself? You look exactly the same. Welcome, and it's great to see you. And I would say unmute yourself and join the talk.
Hello, Sanneke.
Hello, Jeroen. Welcome, and yeah, thanks for this work and for your performance of the night. And it's good to see you now. And yeah, so we already like briefly talked of this work by email and just before, and I mentioned this this isolation that you said, like, yeah, it's not in the work, but maybe it is, and it also, you started reflecting on your yourself as an artist and this alienation that it is there. But for me, what I find so extremely interesting is that you are there and you are fully present, but you're just like, it's not so much isolation, it's also rejection. Like you reject like the current stream of things and you go against the stream, so to say, by doing something that is non-understandable for the people that are actually there watching you, and maybe a little bit non-understandable for us at home, but at least a little bit more. So that also there's this role for the video equipment, so to say. So only by playing it back, there starts to be a sort of reality that we can grasp, but still then everything looks so odd. Yeah, many words from my side. What do you hear when I say all this? Like, does it make sense?
Yeah, you make a difference between the words isolation and what else did you say?
Rejection. Yeah, I already said that you reject a sort of a time, like the lineage of time, by going like in reverse in the context where everything goes a certain way, you go against it. Or but I also don't know how much that was visible when you were there and how much people were hallucinating what you were doing, or that now that we see the others walking backwards and we see you going sort of in dialogue with that it is more odd than it was at that time when you were recording it.
I think it's a matter of the media. I think you also used the word alienation just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you get alienated when you make weird sounds and noises for 10 minutes shouting in public space. You quite immediately get rather alienated and rejected by people who don't want to be involved at all with the madman in the street, basically. So that's, and I think it was recorded in London, and people are just used to not get involved with strange things on the street. I guess that's one of the things. But for me at that time, the video wasn't about that. It was more about subliminal messaging and the strength of the human mind and stories about satanic messages being hidden in music. So I practiced it for 3 months to try to learn the song in reverse and sing it in a public space. But at present, I'm much more, I mean, you just saw this text on the video or on the stream, which is about which is a sentence that I kind of borrowed from Facebook, which sort of is trying to make us believe that we're all connected through machines and become that social relationships are established through technology, and that's something that I find very strange, and I kind of have a sense myself that I feel more and more alienated or isolated due to technology that is seemingly connecting us. So
you were referring to you are now friends. That was indeed in the stream for a while, but it's funny because I also think that technology plays an extremely big role in the stairway at St. Paul's, but it's now that I saw it again, and of course we shouldn't do that, but I can't help it. But there also started to be a similarity with what we are doing here. Like we are all like in front of our webcams and performing in front of a camera. So there's also this fake connection, so to say. So we are here gathered on the screens, but we are not. And I think it also plays with this screen as a dividing frame, so to say. But at the same time, it does bring you closer to us. So there's also this, you call it fake. You call it like fake connection or so. Did you say the word fake, or did I make that up?
I think you made it up, but
sorry.
I get what you mean. In theater, we talk about fourth wall, and I think the gentleman that I see in the corner sitting in the cinema, looking at the screen, although we have a reaction, he's literally looking at the wall right now with a projector on it. So there's literally a.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
And it's not. I'm an image. I'm not three-dimensional, and there's less social interaction, I feel. So it's a substitute. For me, it's a substitute, and I kind of get the feeling that there's mechanisms going on, like in terms of money mechanisms, trying to earn money on our social interaction, and that sort of confuses me to sort of like get a good entrance to my own feelings, I suppose, more or less. So that's sort of, I think, the sense that I have, that I feel is strange sometimes, sort of not having less access to my own emotions because of this technology that's sort of implemented between our social interaction. That's how I kind of feel about it. So this isolation and this alienation that you're talking about and that you apparently see in the video, I don't think I was working with that, and I was aware of it when I was making it and when I'm making this video, but I can totally see why it's in this age read into that. So, and I'm sure that the topic must have already been somewhere in my head as well, but not, and so it sort of, let's say, kind of subconsciously got into the video here as well. Yeah.
And you said quite some critical things on technology, and which makes total sense. But this is a video piece that we saw that also like reflects on technology, not maybe the commercial platforms that you were more referring to at first. But did you also like step aside from working with technology, because now we watched this embroidered like image, and there's other things that you seem to work more with craftsmanship, reflecting on technological, like the place of technology in human relationship. Is it like also that you make less use of technology because of this critical reading of it?
Yeah, although I was originally trained as a sculptor, so I'm someone who physically makes things, and when I made this video, it was was often referred to, or I was referred to as a video artist, which I always found strange because I was still making sculptures and installations, and I thought I was an artist, and video was an interesting new medium at that time, and it wasn't YouTube. YouTube didn't even exist yet, so I used it for installations. But now I'm more awarely, much more, making use of the physical aspect. So I quit all the social media and that I used to have, and I'm trying to make things that are, in my opinion, more physical. So I think I told you about a text that I wrote, and instead of putting it on a website or anything, I just inscribed it into an etching plate, like a large etching plate. And although it talks and it deals with the ideas of what technology does, I felt like I had to physically scratch it into a piece of metal and then print it and work for a few months of it in order to have it a more physical appearance into the real, into world of physical reality, so to say.
But in that regard, Stairway is also an extremely physical work in the performative sense, because I think you already said it was 3 months, but you must have practiced for so long to learn this song by heart in reverse. So there's also this human labor or activity involved, I think, which we also see when we watch the work, because it's, I think, what everyone thinks, like, oh, how long did it take to be able to perform it like this?
Yeah, and often people think it's that this is a fake video that's green screened or something, which it wasn't. So it was also, it's true that sort of like I quite like I was quite anxious going up to the church, which is like the St. Paul's Cathedral in London, which is a very public place. I also did this, by the way, on the Red Square in Russia, if you want to know, but that video didn't work out so well. But like a very public place, and hype yourself up. So like, okay, I'm gonna scream for 10 minutes. Everything will work and technology will work and no one will be there, or no one will stop me. Actually, in Russia, they did. I was stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a very physical act as well, sort of like moving out into public space and doing something really odd and strange, which is, I think, quite.
Yeah, you also did it entirely alone. Like we see you indeed put the play button, and but in this regard, it's also quite YouTube avant la lettre. I think you really like treat the camera as a YouTubers did afterwards, like just on your own. But this in your case, not from a safe environment, because that would directly have made the safe environment of your home, so to say, because that would directly have made it much more easy for you to do, so to say. So that's really added to the
Well, there is some manipulation going on in the video, so I wasn't entirely alone, but everything in the video suggests that I was. Yeah,
exactly. That's enough. That's what video is. It's about suggestion and the willing suspension of disbelief and so on. But yeah, but I do think it's also an interesting reflection on the medium of video.
It was done live as well. Did you know that? There is a video.
Yeah, I saw actually it was performed quite sometimes. There's also one at Nighttown in Rotterdam, if I remember correctly, in clubs or so.
That's true. And there was one in Amsterdam actually as well, in the Pakhuis de Zwijger, I believe. Yeah, but
would you still be able to do it? Would you still is it so much part of you that you can still perform it at any time?
A few sentences probably I still remember, like the beginning, I have to think about it now. What's it? Nu werd Joaet hung op zich net. I think that's the last sentence in reverse. And perhaps if I practiced it again and I dug it up, it would yeah, I would. But I think it's also, it was a moment in time at that time when that was at some point suddenly possible and evoked the idea to do it.
Yeah.
Do this with technology at that time, but that was available at that time, and at that time I was very, very excited about it, and the excitement has changed a bit, but
but there's still at least there's fascination. Oh, yes.
Can I ask, if you do it live, do you then how do you do it live? Do you record it and then play it immediately back, or how do you do it?
There's you can actually check it on my website, although it's a bit you probably need a plugin that's been updated. But there's I did a kind of a Dadaistic performance, so there was no sound and no music. It was just what I just did, 10 for 10 minutes long, and strange movements. So it was a bit of a mock-up of yeah, endurance performance on stage. So but I did it on a stage like where you are right now, like just like that, with an audience live, and a cameraman or a camera woman going through the audience and filming me and filming the audience. And in some parts, in some circumstances, the audience actually kind of had heard or knew a little bit what was going to happen with the video. So I asked them to politely chuck their underwear on stage, for instance, or wave. And then I would go back for half an hour and backstage and edit the video and reverse it, splice a music track underneath that I had ready, and with the new video, I went to the control room of the cinema and asked them to play it to the same audience that had just been watching it live. And I think that was I think the piece there became something else because it was about transformation. People often just couldn't really get what was going on. They were like, I just saw this, but this, I just saw this, but it's now something else. This is actually not really happening to me. I remember asking one guy in the audience that was in the film, and he looked all the time. He kind of looked like this, like. Going through your mind, and he said like, I just my everything in my mind and my body said this can't be true, and then I thought, but it is true because I'm seeing it right now. So I think that was what's happening during the performances, which is yeah, quite nice. I think what happened there.
Yeah, it's funny because this is also a bit closer to this. Wanting to retrieve satanistic messages from rock songs, so to say, is it true, is it not true, what is it doing? So I think you also got close to the conceptual core by these performances in some sense.
Yeah, but also I think what the theater does, I think someone else was talking about it before, is the common experience that you experience something with the body of 200-300 people together, and you feel all the energy and the hypes and the going through the audience when there's and the excitement, and so it's very much a live event, or a real live event. What a video, I think, is when you watch it, you always know, you always know there's something manipulated there. So you're watching a video, but I think the live performance was something that people couldn't really grasp, because it was like real. Well, their mind somewhere said, but this can't be real. So that I think was nice that it sometimes achieved that, because not every performance did that, but there's a few recordings where it worked.
Fantastic. I know you did that, but I never watched them, so I'm gonna chase to your website after.
Probably at the Lima library as well.
Yeah, but not at the online catalog. So it's a sort of documentation, so to say. So like people can't watch it from home, but yeah, fascinating. I'm watching at the Sander and I'm watching at the chat. Are there like famous last comments that we want to share? Silence. That's nice. That's also a strange thing, like silence on YouTube streams. But hey, why not? Yeah, I think it's time for the thank yous. We're already like almost. No, I think we're more than 2 hours on the way. That was it for this week. I'll be back hopefully here in this lovely cinema space next week. Next week is the last part of the series, and the title is Whose Story? We're gonna reflect on storylines. No, I think I'm watching it, Luna, now. No, Whose Space? It was What's the Story? Is my body public? When's my body public? Whose Space? So we're going to reflect on like hidden political structures in public space, and Douwe Dijkstra will be my guest of the night. And we're also screening works by Wim Gijzen, Mona Hatoum, and Pulvi Takala. So yeah, thanks everyone in the chat, and thank you mostly Jeroen and Sander for being here with me, partly being here with me. At least we could see each other and hear each other, Jeroen, which was super lovely. So I think that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. And thanks to Luna and Jan-Pieter of Kriterion, and Nina, of course, and José, taking care of technique. And I'm super happy that we are now friends. You are now friends. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.